Hello, everyone. Welcome back to ModGolf Live on YouTube. Gosh, I can't believe we've been doing this for almost 2 months now, trying to be regular about this. I've learned in entrepreneurship, consistency is important. It's not glamorous, but it is the way to go. And yeah, I think this is our 6th ModGolf Live that we're doing. And today, I'm really excited to have a guest on, a young woman that I just met a month or so ago on LinkedIn, and a couple of conversations that we've had, because I really want to make golf as inviting and welcoming and diverse as possible that I can through the platform that I have here. And I noticed part of that diversity piece is like, you know what? I haven't had anyone under the age of 25 on the show, on the podcast in almost 6 months. It's like, you know what? I have to change that. And today we are doing just that. And that young woman is Lathika Krishna, who is a Division I scholarship golfer, actually playing out of Long Island University, so D1 golf in the US. But it's a little more interesting than that because she is a citizen of India, and she'll be joining us. She's actually on summer break and in India right now, middle of the night right now. So she stepped up, deprived herself of some sleep, and will be joining us in a moment. But before we get going on that, I'm going to open up the show with something that we came up with last week. And that was, since I'm in Vancouver, it's still morning. It's 9 a.m. here, Pacific time, so it is the morning. So we're going to do something we're calling Colin's Monday Morning Musings. So what am I musing about? What am I thinking about a little bit? Well, you know, things that have gone on in golf over the weekend, or maybe the last month, or, you know, since we last saw each other here. And one thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, how golf can kind of mirror life in a way. It's like, how do we handle our emotions? How do we react to adversity on the golf course and some setbacks? And I did notice that during the Rocket Mortgage PGA Tour event, during the last round, that Cameron Young snapped his driver out of anger with 5 holes left, and he was in contention at the time. And under the rules of golf, if you break a piece of equipment, and you can replace that unless it is done in anger. In that case, it was. So he had to play the last 5 holes without his driver, and that was not good for him because the last 3 holes he ended up going bogey, par bogey, ended up finishing tied for 5th or 6th. So yes, it really affected him. And I can relate to that myself as a 15 handicapper. So I'm usually shooting, you know, around 90, breaking 90 most of the time. And last week at a golf course that last year, I shot my second best round ever. I shot 81, had 4 birdies, was excited about getting back there. And what did I do? I shot 104, my worst round in about 5 years. Lost 7 balls, had 42 putts. You know, nothing was going right out there. But that's golf, and that's life. So that's my musing for today. It's like, you know what? Just, you know, get back up, brush yourself off. Went back out and hit some balls and played around yesterday, and played much better and enjoyed myself, and just forget about it. So yeah, don't set yourself up for what you believe is success on that particular day. And I know as an entrepreneur, what success is as far as the ventures that we're doing, even with the podcast or even the live show here. You know, hopefully we have 20, 30, 50, 100 people joining us, you know, but we may only have 1 or 2 or 5. But I want you to be engaged and interactive. And hey, on that note, if you are out there joining us, I do strongly encourage you to in the chat to actually ask some questions here, to actually put something out here today, both for myself and for Lathika, as she starts to tell us about, you know, her experience and her journey in golf and in life. And that's where we're going to go. But one other thing we're going to do here as we open up here is we love to do ModGolf giveaways. And you may think, how can I win all this free, awesome golf gear? In the last couple of weeks, we've given away golf gloves. We've given away bad cards for good golfers. But you have to be a Patreon member here with us here with ModGolf. So yes, I will include that link in the chat there. So yeah, if you become a monthly subscriber here, You get all kinds of exclusive content, awesome stuff, one-on-one conversations, and also you love to win free stuff, like I mentioned, doing that with ModGolf giveaways. And this week we're going to be giving away, and this is a Gimme Pro. So this is an awesome ball shagger. Got it right here. Got it here, all full of 25 balls here. Love this this unit. My good friend Tin Tran out of California. Him and his business partner are the co-founders of Gimme Pro. Saw them at the PGA show. Had a chat with Tin at the show for that conversation, and he was nice enough to send one up for me. So I am going to be doing a ModGolf review of this on our YouTube channel in the next couple of weeks, and we're also going to be giving this unit away here today. So for the giveaway here you go. So what we do is, here, let me remove that so you can actually see everybody there. So once again, how do you enter? So we have, we've got 7 awesome people who are paid Patreon members here. So they're the ones that are entered into the draw here. So you can see your odds are pretty darn good at winning this Gimme Pro. And we've had some of these people that have already won something in the last couple of weeks here, and they may win again. And I'm going to do a random draw here and determine who the winner is. And the winner is, it's Bob Wells, who actually I know right here in Vancouver. So Bob, you are the winner of this Gimme Pro. So you know what? This works out really well. So I don't have to pack this thing up and put it in the mail and send it to you. I can just drop this off in person. So perhaps we'll get a picture of Bob and myself with the Gimme Pro in action. And that's what we're going to do. So that's it for my Monday morning musings for this week, and we'll muse again next week. But now we're going to get to the main event here, and that is with my guest, Lathika Krishna, who I mentioned is joining me in the middle of the night. Hopefully she's had a cup of tea and heavily caffeinated and able to stay awake here and join us. And there she is, Lathika. Welcome to ModGolf Live. How are you?
Thanks, Colin. I'm great. It's great to be on the podcast.
Well, thanks for joining me. So, yes, from our previous conversations, I just love all the great things that you are doing. And as I mentioned, I do my best to make golf welcoming and inviting and share that platform as diverse as possible. And as I mentioned, I'm a bit guilty of not having anyone that's a bit younger. Well, it's easy to be younger than myself with all the white in this beard here, but to get that voice, that the kind of the younger voice of the game in here. So I really want to get your perspective on golf, life, hear about golf in India, the history there and the future and where it's going. I know I'm throwing a lot out there, but to open, why don't you let our audience know a bit of your background in, let's say in golf, your golf journey, when you started to play golf? Why don't we start with that? Nice and simple. Why don't you, I believe you were 5 years old when you first picked up a golf club. And so tell us about your golf journey there early in your life.
Yes, I did start playing the sport when I was 5 years old. My dad took me to a summer camp that was going on at our local club. And ever since then, I've just been hooked on to the club and just been loving the sport. And I've seen it go through a lot of changes in the country, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Wow, nice. So I'm going to stick with golf in India because I'm learning as far as the game growing across the world, especially in countries that traditionally were not golf countries, even though with the British influence, I guess golf was something that's been around for quite some time. And I believe, if my memory serves right, when I read the Wikipedia page, that the Royal Calcutta Golf Club has been around since 1838 or something like that. So gosh, almost 180 years. So there is a history of golf in India, but my understanding, there's only about 200 courses, and a few of those too are on military bases. So access for people in India to grow the game, it sounds like there's still a lot of work to do. So tell us a little bit about that, as far as the state of golf in India, where it is and where it's been and where it's going. Now, it's a big question. We could probably spend hours on this, but maybe you can give us a little bit of perspective through your eyes of the history and the present and the future of golf in India.
Yes, of course. So like you mentioned, RCGC is one of the oldest courses in the country, and every time I play on that course, it just takes me back. to like, well, maybe what it was like to play golf during that time, because it's so simple. It's a beautiful golf course. And like you said, there are only about 200 courses in the country, and with most of them being army bases, there aren't many public courses available to play in. So I guess the reach is kind of limited to people who have access to private golf clubs and the army golf clubs. So we would need to open up a few more public spaces for people from all sorts of backgrounds to come in and just take their chances with the sport, either even if it's for fun or even if they're looking to build a career at it. But I feel like that's a good way to start growing the game.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to circle back to you. I'm just going to be bouncing back and forth here between big picture things with golf in India and then also about your personal journey. So tell us how you ended up from being at home in India playing golf, obviously getting up through the junior ranks, how you ended up in the United States there on a golf scholarship at Long Island University.
Well, given that I started playing golf at 5, I spent a lot of my time competing on the local circuit and even the national amateur circuit over here. And during my whole career, I have sustained a lot of injuries that have taken me out of the game for a good couple months, or like even a year sometimes. So I think while I was recovering from a wrist injury that took me out for a year, I kind of realized that this comes with any sport that happens. You never know what's going to happen. You never know when an injury is going to come in, take you out of the game. So it is important to have an education and have a degree to fall back on, because again, like I said, you just never know when something's going to happen and take you out of the game.
Right. Interesting. Okay, so I think some people out here would love to learn a bit about what it is like, a day in the life, let's say last season, being a D1 athlete, balancing between your academics and also playing at that elite level. So tell us about that. What it would be like there, let's say a day-to-day, or even let's say a week in your life in the mid-season, what that would be like for you when you're competing with the team.
So we usually start off our mornings at 6 a.m. by working out bright and early. And we usually end workouts and then go grab some breakfast before we all head off to class. And classes, we usually try and schedule classes around the same time so we can practice together and learn from each other. So we usually end classes around 2:33 in the afternoon, and then we head out to the course, or maybe even if it's just a practice session. But there have been times where obviously, like, you are a student athlete, the student comes first. So we would have to prioritize our classes sometimes by, sometimes you just have to schedule a class that doesn't fit into the team's practice schedule. So during those times, we have a practice facility on campus, equipped with a flight scope and a sand putt lab. So we just take ourselves out to the shed and get some practice in.
Nice. And what is it like when you're actually traveling to an event? Can you tell us about that? Like how do you travel around? Do you fly? Do you bus? Or tell us like that with the team if you're actually going for one of the tournament events that you have during the season.
So in the fall, we mostly have events that are sort of closer to us. So our coach usually drives us around in the school van over there. So, we got some good vibes going in with the music and breakfast stops and all of that. So, and we usually go in straight to our practice round, play the full 18, and take notes of the course on our strike line books. And after dinner that night, we sit down with the team and sort of go through each hole, like cover every single area of the hole as possible, and hear each other's opinions about the hole and what they think would work best for them. And just sort of work on course management and plan your shots for the next few days. So, and the first day we start off pretty early in the morning, as we played 36 holes the first day. And there have been times where we haven't been able to finish the full 36 because the sun goes down. So in that case, we finish up the next day with another 18.
Gotcha, gotcha. It sounds intense, but it sounds like you've got a real sense of camaraderie there with your teammates, and I'm sure a lot of them are good friends now. So I'm sure you're very very tight knit group. So I wanted to ask you this: if there's watching us live here afterwards on YouTube that are parents out there, or even young people that are elite level golfers, uh, what what do's and don'ts or strategies or tips can you give for parents or even the students that are looking to become student athletes like yourself with the possibility of getting a scholarship, especially in any sport, but especially in golf? What can you tell us about your journey and what you've learned along the way?
I think one of the first steps that I did was to figure out what I was looking for in a school, whether I wanted to play Division 1, 2, or 3, depending on what I'm looking for in the school in terms of athletics and academics as well. And after that, I sort of created a spreadsheet filled with schools I was looking at. And well, initially, the funny thing is, I was looking into D3 and D2 schools because I didn't think I was good enough to play D1.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, but I mean, midway, I sort of realized that, I have it in me and I can go out there and play Division 1 golf. So after creating a list of schools that you're interested in, I guess the first step would be connecting with the coach. So I've probably sent around 200 emails to different coaches with, swing videos and resumes, TrackMan reports, and all of that. And sometimes you won't get a response, and that's okay. And even if a coach does connect with you, it's important to, carry that conversation on and keep interacting with them and their teammates as well, even if you haven't committed to the school yet, because you don't want to go to a school where you don't have a good connection with the coach and the players, because you want to be on, you need to have a similar thought process to, bond well.
Wow, great insight. Thank you for that. You and I were talking earlier before we jumped on the show here, just as far as you want to talk your own mental health and the ups and downs of life and golf at whatever level. As a 15 handicapper like myself, and I talked about earlier with my 104 blow up there, and also with yourself. It sounds like you had during COVID that was very hard on you personally there, and your golf game and yourself. So yeah, tell me a bit about that as far as what you're putting in place to take care of yourself and to really and to grow and with your mental health, so that you're able to kind of progress forward and be the best that you can and reach your potential.
Yeah, I guess as a junior, I didn't really think much about the mental aspect of the game, but as I started playing at an amateur level, I really saw how much of an influence it has on your game. And like I said earlier, you never know when injuries are going to happen. You never know when they're going to take you out. So when I had the wrist injury that took me out for a year, I had a mini crisis because I didn't know what to do with myself if it wasn't for golf. And then I got COVID around 2021, and I was completely out for 3 4 months, and just wasn't able to get out of bed, wasn't able to play, wasn't able to do much. So I guess I had a sort of identity crisis where I didn't know who I was without the sport, given that I've been playing it all my life and I've centered my whole world around it. So I would say that it's important to sort of have a life outside the game, and the game isn't life or death. It is just a game, and it should be fun. And that doesn't mean, you just don't go out and compete, but you compete without having that big burden on your head. If you play golf when you think it's fun, you shoot much better scores, anywho. So, and then again, when I started getting back after COVID, I was grinding it out on the range every single day. I was on the range for 10 to 12 hours a day from 7 a.m. and I'd leave at 8 p.m. and I'd just be hitting balls, just putting constantly. And while that did do me good in the sense that it helped me gain confidence, I burnt out a lot from that. because the minute something would go wrong, I'd immediately hop back on the range and I'd have the mentality that I need to fix this right now. So basically, I was just trying to be perfect and just trying to get every single thing right. But like you said with your round last week as well, it's golf. It's just bad rounds happen sometimes, and you just need to accept it, learn from it, and move on.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And I had mentioned to you when we were having this conversation earlier, a guest that I had on a couple of years ago, and people that know golf in the US will know Michael Breed. He was on the Golf Channel for many years there. He does his own show now for many years with golf instruction as a PGA Class A professional. And Michael said to me on the show, just because you make a bad golf swing doesn't make you a bad person. And I remember that. And when I hit a couple of bad shots, and it's like, that was such an easy shot. How could I actually do that? But just take a deep breath and realize, you know what? Be kind and generous to yourself. And sounds like you are starting to do that. And like myself, we're all a work in progress here. Like the journey never ends. But it sounds like you've recalibrated yourself with expectations and even priorities. And it sounds like you're being a lot kinder to yourself than perhaps you were a few years ago.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I was saying, I was just grinding it out on the range the whole time, and I never took a day off of golf. So, even if I did fall sick for a week, or if just had some work with school going on and I missed a day of school, I'd be freaking out. I would, in my head, I would say, I'm gonna forget golf if I don't play for a day, and I'd always be freaking out. And my coach Bambi Randava helped me a lot with my mental game, and allowing myself to give myself breaks and recover and rest so that I can play better golf early on.
Nice, nice. Thanks for that. So hey, as it says in your title there, you're also a golf journalist. So you and I also met. That also intrigued me, and I leaned in and really wanted to connect with you because of that, not just what you're doing as a D1 athlete. So I read a couple of your articles. Well done, very nice. So enjoyed that. So why don't you let everybody know here what you're doing as, I don't know if you want to call that your side hustle or your summer hustle, but with everything else that's got all the balls you have in the air and the plates that you're spinning, you're also writing as a golf journalist. So tell us about how that opportunity came about and what excites you and what you like to write about the most.
So during winter break last year, I kind of didn't have much to do because the courses were shut, we were snowed in. So I was just looking at things I can do to grow myself and upskill. So I ended up getting a certification in sports marketing from Northwestern. And just through LinkedIn and doing a bit of research, I did want to give back to the game here in India. So I started working for Sportskita, which is a media company, as a golf journalist. And I feel like it helps me grow a lot in the game, in the sense that I get to see what other players are doing and learn from them and just observe things. And you never know what you're going to learn from someone. So just meeting a lot of new people and reading new articles and writing new pieces that I don't know stuff about as well. That way I get to educate myself a bit more.
Nice, nice. So that's something you're going to continue on during the school year. It sounds like you've got you're writing quite a bit there, so obviously that's going fairly well.
Yep, I will be continuing during school.
Nice, nice. So now I have to ask you. I think I know the answer to this question already, reading your bio here. But who are your favorite golfers? Who inspires you in golf?
I mean, growing up, I watched Tiger play a lot. He was one of the only players from a minority community to, take golf up the rankings and really, go out there and prove his worth. So he played a massive role in my life. And in terms of Indian players as well, Aditi Ashok, she's playing in the Olympics this year, and I had the great opportunity of growing up watching her play golf at the same club, and I learned a lot from her just observing her. Sometimes when I'd be taking breaks from practice, I'd just sit behind her and just watch her hit balls and just stare at her and watch her play. So She was definitely one of the big inspirations.
Well, I was going to ask you about Aditi if you actually had a relationship with her. So it sounds like you do. It sounds like because she's ranked, I think, around 60th in the world right now. She's definitely in the top 100, I believe.
Yes,
So,
she is.
so yeah, she has some game, and she's going to the Olympics. So tell us about that. I believe both there's an Indian men's and women's team you managed to qualify for the Olympics in Paris. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. At the last Olympics in Tokyo, we had such an amazing performance out there. Aditi finished fourth. That was the closest we've ever come in the Olympics in terms of golf. And joining her this year will be Diksha Dagar. She struggles with hearing a bit, so she played in the Deaf Olympics in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, and she took home the gold at that as well. So, and they're both doing really well on the LET, and on the men's team as well. We have Shubhankar Sharma and Gaganjeet Bhullar, who are both winners on the European tour, and I think they're gonna do amazing this year.
Wow. So in Tokyo, ended up. That's the place no one wants to finish is in fourth because you're so close to that medal, that podium. So maybe you can do one step better. That would be amazing for Indian golf if one or both teams can bring home a medal because the Olympics, the eyes are on it. So let me ask you this as far as the kind of the growth, kind of stepping back again from your own personal journey back to Indian golf. Where do you see some potential as far as growing the game? And I'm sure there's lots of barriers like there are in a lot of countries around the world. I'm sure India is no different. But to get clubs into people that have less opportunity, that may be disadvantaged, like let me ask you that. It's like how can you grow the game having only 200 courses? I saw that there are some pitch and putt courses like executives, which that's a great way to go the game as far as introducing. So what are your thoughts on that? Just as far as what the I guess it's the Indian Golf Union, I believe, is the governing body. What are they doing, or what can they do to make golf more accessible to people that may not even know what golf is and thinking it's all cricket all the time? But hey, there's another sport called golf that you can also play this. So what are your thoughts on that as far as growing the game in India?
So I grew up playing the Indian Golf Union Junior and Amateur Golf Tour, and they are the leading body in India, and they provide a lot of opportunities for different players to play. And as well, we have a couple of regional tournaments as well. So over here we have the South Zone Junior Golf Tour. So they just have tournaments in regularly in small places, encouraging kids to come out and play and have fun. And like you said, we do have a shortage of courses, and with most of them being private, the reach is kind of limited to just people who are privileged enough to have access to the course and afford a membership and coaching and equipment, which can be really, really expensive. So, but at the same time, I have seen a lot of growth as well in my former academy, TSG. They began as just a coaching facility, but they've grown into being a full-fledged academy while allowing kids to stay over there where they get to learn something about independence by, getting up by yourself, doing your own sheets, doing your own laundry, and as well as having an education system in place as well, so they don't miss out on schooling.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, that's very interesting and encouraging. So yourself personally, as far as giving back to the game, I know you're still in the middle of doing lots of things right now. You may not have the bandwidth and the opportunity right now, but yourself as a young woman, is that something in the future that you would love to give back as a legacy, to introduce more girls and young women to the game, that not just at that elite level to compete, but even as a recreational pursuit? I think you also know that I don't know how it is with culture in India, but definitely in North America, more and more women getting introduced to the game and realizing it's such a great way to build your network and great for business and build community around that. So tell us about the future for you as far as giving back to the game. Is that something that you'd like to do in the future?
Yes, 100%. I mean, I've been playing at this club for 15 years of my life, and through that, I've met a lot of people from different backgrounds, and especially like you mentioned, the ladies that come into play. They all form such great connections with each other. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're playing good golf or not. At the end of the day, they're making good connections. They're creating bonds for a lifetime. They're making good memories, and at the same time, I was speaking to one of them the other day, and they told me that I don't go out for scores. I go out to, just get my body some exercise and appreciate that I'm in such a beautiful course. I'm like looking at the greenery and the trees, and I feel like that's something a lot of amateurs can learn from older golfers is that, don't break your head over a bad shot. Sometimes if you hit a bad shot, just look up and remind yourself that you are so grateful to be in this great place and learn from that bad shot and move on.
Such wise advice from someone so young. Well, younger than me. Thank you for sharing that. So let's finish up with this. As far as you in the future, you're in, I believe. So are you a sophomore or a junior going into to the next season?
I just finished my freshman year, so I'm going to be a sophomore.
Sophomore, second year. Okay. So tell us about what you're thinking for 2024, 2025, and beyond that. What are your hopes and dreams and aspirations for you in golf, not only as a player, but also, I'm assuming, I've got this feeling that you'd love to have a career that's involved in golf in some way, shape, or form. So what gets you excited about golf, the game, and the industry, and where would you like to go, not only next year, but beyond in your career with golf?
Well, given that I'm on break right now, I still have a month to get back to campus. So I'm trying to find some tournaments to play in throughout Asia because the golf tour, the amateur tour, is currently off season over here. So I would love to go play a couple other events and just network with different people from the golf industry and learn about their experiences in the world and how they got to where they are. And like I said earlier, I would definitely love to give back to the community. And growing up, I kind of always thought that if you want to have a career in golf, there's only one way, and that's to be a professional. But I've grown to know a lot of people who have different careers in the industry, in research and management and journalism as well. So there's so many things to do to give back to the sport.
Love that. Love that. So, hey, why don't we finish up with that? Because I'm sure it's middle of the night. You're probably ready for bed. I'm sure you're probably exhausted, but your energy level is high. I love this. This is great.
Yep, I'm still writing pieces right now, so I'm up throughout the night anyway.
There you go. Okay, well, hey, I'll let you get back to your writing then. Lathika, thank you so much for sharing your personal insights, your journey, the state of golf in India and where it's been and where it's going. You've kind of thrown a lot of the wall here and managed to encapsulate that very, very nicely for our ModGolf audience here. So I have a feeling we're going to have you on every once in a while. Maybe at the end of next season, we'll have an update here and hear what's new in your life and the state of golf in India and beyond. So, hey, Lathika, again, thank you so much for joining me today on ModGolf Live.
Thank you for having me, Colin, and I hope to be on the show again.
There we go. My pleasure. All right. You take care. Get back to writing and then get some sleep. Okay?
I will. Thank you so much, Colin.
You're welcome. All right. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, Colin. See you.